Hey, I just wanted to test my audio here. People hearing me?
Yes, thank you, and hi.
All right. I see Chico there with Jam, who's going to be, I guess, recording and live streaming this.
And Chico. Hi, Miranda.
I'm going to be admitting people as I see them popping up here. So I think we just added Priscilla.
Hi.
Hi.
I have not seen Marcia yet, so we'll. Oh, there she is.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Marcia.
I apologize. I had a little computer freezing. So if I freeze during this, we'll do our best. Are we yet? Not yet. I'm wondering, are we recording yet?
I can record whenever we are ready to start. Yeah, it's a little after 6:30, so I can do that right now.
Okay,
This meeting is being recorded.
great. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a special meeting of the Norwich Selectboard. This is Wednesday, April 5th, 2023. My name is Marcia Calloway. I'm currently serving as chair. I'm joined by board members Mary Layton, vice chair, Priscilla Vincent, and Pamela Smith. Roger Arnold is unable to join us this evening. However, we have a quorum and will proceed with business. This meeting is being held remotely only, with the public participation available via Zoom. In addition, CATV, is broadcasting this meeting via YouTube. As always, the agenda and packet materials were distributed via the Norwich listserv, and they are also available on the town website under the Select Board tab. As this is a special meeting called for one agenda item, after approvals of the agenda, I will invite anyone who wishes to make a public comment on any other topic not on the agenda to do so. As always, please keep remarks concise. If someone has already expressed your concern, please feel free to be recognized just to indicate your concurrence with a prior statement. With that, I will ask for the second agenda item, which is agenda review. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. Moved by Mary. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Pam Smith. All in favor? Oh, we have to call the vote. We're remote. So Mary Layton,
I vote yes.
Pam Smith,
Yes.
Priscilla Vincent,
Yes.
Marcia Calloway, yes. Motion passes unanimously. We have no informational items. Oh, sorry, I promised. Is there any public comment? I see no public comment. There's someone who seems to be having difficulty connecting, but it looks like an audio issue. So I don't think there's anything we can do to help. All right. Stuart Richards.
Yeah.
So when yes, it is Stuart Richards, Norwich, Vermont. So I just want to raise a few concerns. When I look down at future agenda items possible, there are a number that I think are, I won't necessarily rank them in order, but it seems to me that they are very important. And some of these probably should be attacked in or attended to in out of the public view. And and I'm thinking of the open meeting law, I think that it's important that there be a discussion by the select board out of public view. We've spent a whole lot of money, and in my opinion, it's been needless money. And I really think that it should come to an end. And I would very much like to see the select board tackle the open meeting law. There is also the issue of the fifth police officer that is not listed as a future agenda item. I would certainly like to see that listed. There's the issue of COLA payment, which was discussed somewhat in the last meeting, but I would like to see that resolved. So, you know, there are, and this is not a, it's not a criticism, because I recognize just how much you have to do and how many things are on your plate. But I really feel that the things that I've just mentioned are important, and that they should be discussed, and that there should be, for those that can be discussed publicly, I think that there should be agenda items so that you do take them up. And thanks for hearing my concerns.
Thank you, Stuart. And just for the record, the future agenda item tab at the end is kind of a notepad, and it's organic. It keeps growing.
I don't doubt it.
All right. So we have no informational items, no reports. The action item tonight is authorization for the interim town manager to hire an interim finance director. I will, in the first instance, turn it over to Brennan to lead us through this.
Okay, thank you. So as you recall from our last meeting on the 29th of March, we had disclosed that we were going to be losing our current interim finance director, Joyce, who's done a wonderful job here in the almost 6 months she's been serving the town, but she has decided to not renew her contracted position here at Norwich through Robert Half. So we had a fairly robust discussion about what that meant and what we would need to do to try to quickly find a replacement for that role, because it is a critical role here in town government. And we were able to talk with Robert Half. So I think what came out of the last meeting was that we were to move forward with trying to find either a temporary contracted worker through Robert Half, or continue to advertise the position and try to find, again, someone who would be qualified to fill that role. So what came of that was that we have actually identified a prospective candidate. This does come in through Robert Half, and they have been working with this individual for a number of years in various capacities. He seems to have a very long list of accounting jobs that he has held. Some of those have been shorter term contracted jobs through Robert Half, and some of those have been longer term jobs that he held, I guess, found and held on his own. So that's kind of where we are. I had sent out, or Miranda had sent out in the packet, a draft of a contract that we had asked Robert Half to create, and that is something that we can discuss as well. I think if we were going to discuss, details of the personnel and people had real specific questions, I think that might warrant going into an executive session to discuss a personnel matter. But I think the contract with Robert Half that's been proposed is very similar to what we've had in the past with Joyce's contract. We would be paying basically directly to Robert Half an hourly rate, and the proposal, again, based on our timing and knowing that Joyce will be leaving her position here at the end of the month, and that we would like to get whoever is going to be coming in trained in some capacity so they can kind of take the reins fairly seamlessly. We would like to hire this individual quickly, and that would mean as soon as Monday is what's proposed in that draft contract. And then he would have a contract that would extend through the end of July. And so basically we'd have about 3.5 months. at which point in this iteration, we could choose to hire this individual as a full-time interim finance director, or we could decide that we wanted to extend his contracted services if we chose to do that. So we have some flexibility there, which I believe is what we had agreed at the end of the last meeting was what we wanted. We're not really locked into full-time hire at this point, but we'll have a chance to see this individual and his work, and also let him see the town of Norwich and make sure that we have a good fit there. So in that way, I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of go the route we're proposing to go. So Miranda, I don't know if you had anything else to add on the HR side. We did interview this individual earlier in the week, and or maybe it was Friday even, and had a good discussion with him. Again, he seems like a experienced and solid candidate that could come in and take a role like this and be comfortable and be able to be effective.
Do you have anything to add, Miranda?
No, it seems like it could be a good fit. So I guess, yes, I did add that phrase.
Okay, great. Board members, does anyone have a question? Mary?
I read the draft contract that was sent around. Is it okay to discuss that a little bit?
Yeah, I think the contract is something we can discuss in open meeting.
Okay. I think the arrangement sounds very good, Brennan, as you have described it. In the contract, if I understand this correctly, it describes a term of 1 year. Like, I don't think it breaks down the time commitment that we're thinking about in as precise a manner as you've said. So I might be wrong. So maybe we could.
Sure. Well, let me
cover
try
the
to.
section that pertains to the term.
Yeah, so I can walk you through that again. I just saw this mid-afternoon.
Well, me too, but yeah.
So this has all been put together kind of quickly with the impetus that we want to move forward if we can. So there's some boilerplate. I guess the first section of that is really kind of a boilerplate contract that I think Robert Half sends out to all their clients. And then there is a second page, which is Exhibit A, and that is where we stipulate the service start date and the estimated timetable of 3.5 months.
Okay, I probably just missed it. Thank you for.
Yeah,
page two.
there are actually three kind of unique documents here. The Exhibit A, and then there's an Exhibit B as well.
Okay.
And in the Exhibit B, I should mention this because I think it'll be part of our discussion. There is at the bottom of that a conversion rate. So this, as I mentioned at our last meeting, Robert Half has a couple different departments and they work in different capacities. One of them is a temp to hire situation. One of them is a permanent employee where they basically headhunt and find you somebody and you hire them directly. And then we're actually working through the same department that we hired Joyce through, which normally doesn't really focus on full-time placement. It's really just a contracted work, for a period of time, and then Robert Half moves their employee or the term is extended. In this case, as they are aware that we have been interested in finding a full-time long-term replacement, they have built in what they've called this conversion, where if we wanted to hire this person directly, we would be paying, again, depending on the amount of time that they've billed prior to the offer being made and accepted, a conversion rate of basically their first year's annual salary. So that goes anywhere from 25% if we were to hire him with under 160 hours billed to Robert Half, down to 17.5% if we were to keep him on there for 481 hours, I guess is the threshold there.
Thank you.
I hope that explained that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Pam?
Yeah, I have a number of questions. First question is, did we look to any other temp agencies besides Robert Half? We did talk about that at the March 29 meeting.
We did not.
Okay, well, our purchase policy, talks about seeking 3 bids, so I get a little frustrated when we try to single source things.
Well, I don't think we're purchasing, we're contracting.
We're purchasing services.
I'd say we're contracting for services.
That's a technicality. Anyway, what if we continue to advertise for a permanent finance director and we find the perfect candidate and we still have 2 months to go in this contract? What about having some kind of termination clause so that we can get out of this? Obviously have some overlap, but not have to continue paying the new person their salary plus $95 an hour for this person.
Yeah, so there is actually in the contract, it's a 30-day notification on either side.
Okay.
Exhibit A,
I didn't see
termination. That one doesn't say 30 days, but the last underlined word is termination. Either party may terminate this statement of work by giving written notice to the other party.
Yeah, and in another section, I think
Which-
they have asked for a 30-day notice. And,
Right,
offered
on
this-
page 1
Yeah.
of the draft general stuff. The bottom of page 1, agreement term.
Oh, okay.
And we might find that useful for overlap, of one person helping to.
Right. I would say 30 days would probably be the maximum. The other questions I have is this person that you are proposing, are we looking at someone who will be working in Tracy Hall?
Yes, the
Okay.
gentleman lives here in Vermont and is committed to coming down and working in person as much as we would like. And that might not be every single day, every 5 days a week, but we would have that option.
Okay. Well, my personal preference is that now that Tracy Hall is open completely to the public, it would be nice to get away from remote work as much as we can. People pay to be able to come into Tracy Hall and get services, and we need people there at their desks. So I'm wondering, Joyce is working remote. How would the training work in this overlap period?
So Joyce has agreed that she would be able to make herself more available in person over the next 4 weeks. So I haven't seen her final plan, but I've asked her to put together a training matrix of what she would need to do and how that would be done, and coordinating times when they would be able to either work in person together or remotely together to basically pass the information on that Joyce has acquired in her time that we would need from our new candidate.
Okay, we have agreed to pay Joyce mileage. I don't see anything about travel expense in this contract, so I'm assuming that this new person would not be paid mileage to commute to work.
That is correct. In our final draft of this, once the Robert Half legal folks have had a chance to review it and touch it up, that was one of our stipulations was we won't be paying the commuting and travel time.
Okay, or the mileage. And the other question I had is, it's my understanding that there's one laptop for the finance director. So how does that work in terms of providing this new person with a computer in order to train with Joyce?
That's a good question. We're actually working with CCI as of this morning, and pending the decision here, we would be ordering another laptop that would have to serve so that both of our personnel had working computers. We are also, this doesn't pertain directly to the finance. We are also probably going to need to purchase another computer for the administrative assistant that we're looking to hire into the town manager office and DPW. So we have 2 more pieces of computer equipment that would potentially be purchased to allow these new people to come on board.
Okay. And I know there's been some emails going back and forth about seeing this person's resume. I would definitely like to see that resume before we make any decision on whether this is a person that the select board would want to approve.
So to address that, apart from the fact that we have an interim town manager, we wouldn't normally see a resume. We're only actually involved in this only because the contract for the interim town manager says that hiring and firing will have to be approved by the select board. Once somebody is hired, as you know, then there's a personnel file. And so in general, I don't think people have access to personnel files. So Miranda's concurring with that. So we can, in this instance, because we have a contract with the interim town manager that says we're going to approve any hiring, we could go into executive session if it's important to the majority of people to see a resume.
Well, I'm a definite yes on that.
Okay, so Priscilla is nodding her head.
I'm a yes on seeing the resume. Absolutely.
Mary?
I would be okay with saying it.
Okay.
Winston, you need to
so-
get down.
What we'll do is finish our questions here, and then we can proceed to an executive session. Priscilla, you have more questions?
Some of it is reiterating what Pam said, so I won't go at length. I would really like to see anybody new we hire in be in Tracy Hall 5 days a week. I assume that this is a 40-hour-a-week contract.
What it says.
Person is being on an hourly rate, and I noticed that this hourly rate is a bit less than what we're paying the current interim finance director. For whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe we'll see when we see the resume.
We can.
Yeah, the proposed rate came from Robert Half, so I'm not sure that's internal, I think, on their part as to how much they bill their individual workers out with.
Mary?
Just as we move forward with reviewing our personnel policies, I would like to ask us to think about how much sort of customer support to the taxpayers we want to provide out of Tracy Hall. Just in noticing how I think maybe younger people are a little more used to being involved in remote work, that I don't have, I don't have a total opposition to it for a day or two per week. And also that I'd like to know that the people who are doing specialized jobs, such as a finance director who has specialized skills, that they're not involved in a lot of interaction with the public where it might be fairly routine matters. I'd like to cut back on that to protect our, just to enable our people who have specialized training to do the work that they're highly qualified to do. But I do think that sort of customer service aspect it's friendly and it's traditional and it's also part of what knits our town together. But there might be a different way of delivering that, other than requiring the finance director to be that person, or any other person in sort of that category.
Yeah,
for instance.
I would agree. I think that's worth looking at. Pam?
Well, I think that we're currently underutilizing our finance assistant. I think that she probably could contribute a lot more, but because there's no one in the office working with her, and we have her working remote 2 days a week, not sure what she does during those 2 days, but I just think that, I would feel like we have more accountability if we have people in the office. And I think that, Ashley can do a lot more. I think there's talent there that we're not tapping because she doesn't have someone in the office working with her. So I would think that we need to have people back at their desks. That would be my preference.
Well, it's not on the agenda tonight, but
Right.
there have been discussions about the need for cross-training. We were having those discussions today in our working group, and at the moment, we don't have that cross-training. So I think the things that you're talking about might not actually be possible at the moment, but that's for another day.
Right. Well, it came up because I asked if this person would be working remote or in Tracy
Right.
Hall. And I think in Tracy Hall is preferable because of that cross-training, and because I think Ashley has a lot of talent that we're just not utilizing because she doesn't have anyone to work with her there.
Yeah, you said that. Okay. I wanted to just ask, you had mentioned, Brennan, that there might be some edits or additions, and I noticed, I'd like everything to be consistent. So paragraph 1.7 does mention a 1-year agreement, and those first pages in some respects are the town agreeing to something rather than, specific to the person necessarily. So I'm just wondering if that's sort of implying that we have a 1-year contract for this sort of type of person in case this didn't work. So I kind of wonder if we needed to look at that and have it changed, or just at least ask, what's the meaning of it? Does it apply to the town having a contract to continue to take someone for a year?
Mhm.
And then the other thing, on Exhibit C, it mentions open issues, and I'm wondering what that means. It's under a brief description of principal open issues. Is that basically getting instruction from the institution so that the person doesn't start cold?
As I understand Exhibit C, that's more of an internal Robert Half, where they might engage with their client over a period of time to kind of check and see how things are going and how the fit is with the contracted employee. So we've had a very close relationship, at least in my tenure here, with the Robert Half account manager, who's had almost a weekly check-in to see how things are going, and has been part of some discussions about Joyce. And so I think that is, again, what that page is set up for, but I don't think there's any detail that's available right now for that.
Okay. All right. Those were my only questions. Board members, you've asked all your questions. Is that true until we go into executive? If that's the case, I'll call on Stuart because he has one more comment.
Thank you for calling on me, Stuart Richards, Norwich. So I'm concerned about the dollars here and the fact that we have not, as Pam suggested, sourced other places for other possible candidates. If my understanding is correct, and please correct me here if I'm wrong, I understand that the pay is based on an hourly rate of $95 per hour. And if I multiply that out by 40 hours a week, it comes out to $197,600 per year. It seems to me that if we were to look a little bit harder, that we could easily, or not easily, but we should make the effort in any case to look for something that is at a more competitive price. So I'm just speaking as one taxpayer. Thanks very much.
I would offer something, but maybe you want to, Brennan?
Well, I guess all I could offer is this is a hourly rate with no benefits. So benefits are paid through Robert Half, so that probably decreases the cost a little bit. Normally, we'd have a blended rate there where we'd be paying a salary plus the benefits that go with the position. And I guess I would just say this is, I think, an extenuating circumstance where we are hiring out these contracted positions to fill our critical needs within the town. So we don't have a whole lot of time to make a decision, and we don't have a whole lot of flexibility as far as finding someone at a discounted rate.
I would hope that you continue the search while this person presumably is going to be working in Norwich. There's no harm in continuing the search and seeing if you can't fill the position. So thanks again.
Yeah, I'll just comment that I don't think there's an intention to stop advertising immediately for a full-time finance director. I think this is, again, to fill this critical need that we're going to hit at the end of April. And then again, if this individual seems like he is a good fit and he's interested in continuing on, then we have the opportunity there to look at that as a full-time hire as well.
And I was just going to offer that my understanding is that this is a pretty exceptional firm in terms of their depth and reach. And, you know, I think we're getting our money's worth. Before I go to Cheryl, the select board member has another comment. Priscilla, do you want to offer something?
Yes, I'm thinking if we like this person, say we hire this person, we like this person a lot. We know there's an option of, you know, sort of try the person out, maybe full-time hire. I would guess that we would be, if we did that, we'd want to be hiring them at a far lower rate than what we're paying them under the Robert Half agreement. And I don't know how well that would sit with the candidate.
To be continued. Cheryl Lindbergh.
Hi, Cheryl Lindbergh. Thank you. I just wanted to echo Pam's idea of looking to other firms. Should you not decide tonight on this individual, that perhaps there are some other no-cost options to talk with some other firms, and happy to pass along any names that I'm familiar with just to the process. But the other thing I wanted to mention in the contract, as I was looking at it briefly, in the Exhibit A, I was a little confused by the description of services, and I wanted to just see if there couldn't be some clearer wording used there for what is meant by bank and reconcile net assessed fund accounts. Just didn't quite understand what some of those description of the services might be, but maybe that can be sorted out when you're getting more decisive on your process.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. With that, Pam, do you have something new or
Yeah, I did have, and it may not be something that can be answered tonight, but I'm just wondering, what is the gross up on permanent employees of the town when we factor in all of the benefits, the health insurance, and, you know, paying our share of the FICA and whatever? What is that percentage?
I'm sure we'd have to look that up. Brennan, do you agree?
Yeah, that's something I'd like to know at some future meeting.
I'm unclear of the question. Are you talking about for the total employees?
No, what I'm saying is if we hire someone and let's say, you know, we're paying them $90,000 a year, are we looking at another $30,000 when we figure out what, you know, we pay them for health, you know, pay for their health insurance, their vacation, whatever, you know, all the things that go into the benefit package? What percentage is that? Is that 20%, 30%? What's a good rule of thumb number to factor in on top of that salary?
There's someone in the waiting room trying to get in.
Okay. Can we get back to that answer another time? It's
just something when Brennan mentioned that, you know, this hourly rate doesn't include all those other things. It just, you know, it was a question in my mind. Could we get some kind of a number that we can use as a rule of thumb when we think about when we hire someone, what do we add to that cost in terms of benefits?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we sort of touch on in budgeting. Okay, is there a motion to enter executive session?
Let's see. I'll do it. Let's see. I move to authorize the interim
Yeah.
town manager, wait a minute, that's not,
Um,
that's the wrong one. I move to enter executive session under 1 VSA 313A3 for the purpose of discussing the employment of a public employee and to invite the interim town manager.
I'll
Moved
second.
moved by Mary, seconded by Pam.
Would you like, if I may, would you like to invite the assistant town manager as well, so Miranda could join this discussion?
Would someone like to make a friendly amendment?
I would be willing to amend the motion to include the assistant town manager as well.
And to include the assistant town manager.
Pam would have to also agree to that for that to work. Do you agree to that, Pam?
Yeah, I guess I'll agree to it.
Okay. Call the question. Mary Layton,
Yes.
Pam Smith,
Yes.
Priscilla Vincent,
Yes.
Marcia Calloway, yes. We'll move into executive session at 7:07.
And Brennan, you'll need to stop the recording.
The recording
All right,
has
so what
stopped.
I'm gonna do is try to move people that are not in the executive session into the waiting room. I think I can do that. If for some reason you get disconnected, I guess I would say just log back into the meeting and stay in the waiting room. And when we come out of executive session, I'll let everyone back in. Hopefully this will work.
And apologies up front, right?
This meeting is being recorded.
That looks good. Okay, I think we have everybody back in and we are recording. Is there a motion to enter public session?
So moved.
By Mary, and do we have a second?
I'll second.
By Pam. I'm going to call the vote. Priscilla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Marcia, yes. Unanimous. We're back in public session at 7:38. Do we have another motion?
Yes. I'm willing to make that motion.
Go ahead.
Motion. I move to authorize the interim town manager to extend an offer to Mr. Randall Bombard for the position of interim finance director and to execute a contract for the same with Robert Hoff.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Priscilla seconds it. Before we have the vote, I see one hand up. Do we have any other discussion with board members? Seeing none, I believe that's Linda Cook. You have your hand up. Do you have a public comment?
No, actually, I was trying to get into the meeting, so I'll put my hand down.
Okay, thank you very much.
I was waiting in the waiting room.
I'm going to call the question for this. Does everyone remember the motion?
Mhm.
Okay. Mary, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Pam, how do you vote?
Yes.
Priscilla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Marcia, yes. Unanimous. Thank you very much. And Brennan, we will thank you for your work and look forward to hearing how all of this is put into action.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you very much. All right. No other items being on the agenda. I would take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Moved by Mary. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Pam. Calling the question. Priscilla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Pam, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mary?
I vote yes.
Marcia, yes. Unanimous. We are adjourned at 7:40. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Yep. Good night.
Thanks a bunch.
Good night.
Thanks, Marcia.